What's up, you guys? Matt Jablonski here with the Point of Change. I hope you guys are having a beautiful Sunday. This evening is the Point of Change meets Josh Sears. If you guys don't know who Josh Sears is, you're about to find out. Make sure you like, love, react to this video. Share this video out in any addiction groups you may be a part of or onto your own page if you wish. Let me get this pulled up over here so I can see who's all here and give you guys some shout outs. What's up, Patrice Wasp? How's it going? Dana Moore, good to see you. Pam Yanish, good evening. Christy Balzer, good evening. Good to see you. Tumbleweed, hey everyone. Sorry I've been MIA. No problem, Tumbleweed. Glad to have you here tonight. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Anybody else here? Anybody got anything you've been doing this weekend or anything you want to talk about? Make sure you throw that up in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from, something like that. I see we got a sad face, so if somebody out there is hurting, make sure you let us know what's going on, and somebody will definitely reach out to you and talk to you. John Hoover, good evening. Alan Kincaid, how you doing, brother? Lorna Smalley, good to see you. Thank you guys for all being here. Come on in, guys. I had a pretty good day today. Went to church this morning. I bought a new bike today. Not a new bike. It's new to me. It's a used bike, but it's a new bicycle. So me and Caitlin both got mountain bikes now. So we're gonna be hitting the trails. Holy crap, man! We went for a 3.5 mile hike yesterday, and then today we went for a bike ride. Found a really awesome bike. I don't even know what to exactly call it, like a bike park almost exactly, but it's like cut through the woods out here on the edge of town. All kinds of different trails you can go down, downhill slopes and everything. It was really fun. We had a really good time. Alan Kincaid, what's going on, brother? Jody, good to see you. Courtney Lay, good to see you. Oh, by the way, guys, I shared out a video on the page earlier today. So if you're watching this on replay, make sure you drop a hashtag replay in the comments and go back to my page and check out the video that I shared underneath this one. It was shared out from my mom's group. My mom does a group called Staff Supporting the Addicts, Friends, and Family. And they had a meeting today. And she had a couple people that I used to use with that came there and shared their stories today. And it freaking like floored me, man. I was like blown away at how good JP, huge shout out to JP and Brittany Bennett for showing up at that meeting and sharing your stories tonight. That is awesome stuff. And we're going to continue that tonight. Tonight we got Josh Sears is here to share his story with us. Donna from Wausau, Wisconsin. What's up, Donna? Maddie from Whitewater, Wisconsin here. Drew Hicks in the house. What's up, Drew? Good to see you. Tumbleweed says stressing, may have prenatal hypertension. Prayers, please, recovery family. Definitely, Tumbleweed. We will lift you up in prayer. Guys, make sure we throw up some care, guys. Throw up some hearts in the comments and make sure Tumbleweed knows we're thinking about her. Throw up some prayers in the real world as well, of course. All right, guys, make sure you hit that share button. Share this video out in any groups you might be a part of. Share it out on your own page if you wish. Make sure you hit the heart button. Throw up some hearts. Throw up some thumbs ups, whatever you can. And help me welcome my guest tonight, all the way from Maryland, Josh Sears. What's going on, brother?
How's it going, man?
Doing good, doing good. Good to have you on here tonight, brother.
Thank you for having me. I hope
Hey, no
everyone's having a
problem, man.
blessed Sunday.
Definitely, definitely. It's a beautiful day. How was today over there?
It was a very beautiful day. It's starting to warm up over here, so everyone's starting to get out and enjoy the warm weather. We've been cooped up all winter, so
Oh, dude, I know how it is. Springtime is happening right here in Wisconsin right now. We went on the hike yesterday and a bike ride today. Seen butterflies and the whole nine today. It was awesome.
yeah, springtime's one of my favorite times of the year, so I'm excited,
Definitely,
man.
definitely. I love seeing everything come back to life. So let's I guess tell us a little bit about yourself, Josh. Tell us where you're from and what it all began for you.
So I'm originally from Florida. I was born in Fort Myers. Um, I was there until I was 13. Um, but for me, like, addiction started long before I left Florida. I started selling drugs when I was 11. I started using, opiates when I was 12. The first time that I ever used, I shot up, man, like right off the jump. Like that was my thing. By the time I was 13, I was already getting arrested. I was in all kinds of trouble. So my mom decided to move us to Vermont, of all places. Why she picked Vermont, I still don't know this to this day, but for some reason she thought we moved to Vermont and I would be able to change and get clean. But when I got to Vermont, like it just my addiction took off, man. Like there was no stopping. The gas pedal was full throttle, and as a result of my disease, like I ended up being taken away from my mom. I was put in state custody because I was just out of control, man. Like my mom tried her best to give me everything that she could. She was a single mother, with 3 children, and I was out of control. Like I was just doing whatever I wanted, when I wanted, not listening, not caring about the consequences that came with it. Like the first time that I got arrested, like I remember sitting in a jail cell, and I was just like, all right, well, this is where it really begins. Like I accepted it. I knew what it was. It was part of my life, like growing up, my uncles, my cousins, I'd seen it enough. So like that
Okay.
first time that I got arrested, I was just like, all right, it's off to the races. Like I don't care. Like I accepted that was part of my path. And like I remember being 16 years old and my mom asking me what I was gonna do with my life, and I told my mom, I was like, you don't understand. Like I'm a drug dealer. I'm a gangbanger. Like I don't need to go to school. I had no plans. Like I don't even plan on finishing high school. And I didn't finish high school. The day I turned 18, the school wanted to have a meeting. They wanted me to have a one-on-one, and I looked at him and I said, you know what? I don't need a fucking diploma. I'm a drug dealer, and I don't need a piece of paper for my career. Like I had accepted that. I had accepted the fact that I was either gonna be in prison for the rest of my life, or I was gonna die in the streets, and I was okay with it. It didn't bother me at all. Um, I never tried to get clean. I didn't care about it. I was content with the life that I was living. I was content with the chaos that came with it. Like I don't know, like I was just accepting of what it was at an early age, and like I was content with making that my life.
That's crazy. The level of acceptance that comes in on that stuff is crazy. I totally get what you're saying, though. I was the same way. I accepted that this was stuff that was going to happen to me because I was doing drugs and I wasn't going to stop. So this is what I got to
Yeah,
deal with, you
I
know?
mean, I remember one time, man. Like I went to court, right? I was like 22 years old, and I was getting ready to get sentenced, and the judge had asked me, he's like, Mr. Sears, like, when's enough gonna be enough? When are you gonna change? And I looked at the judge and I said, look, you can give me any amount of time you want. I really don't give a fuck. Like I can survive in prison. I was like, so I'm not worried about it. I was like, and if you think I'm gonna stop getting high just because you put me in prison, you're out of your mind. I was like, because if you haven't figured it out yet, like I do what I gotta do no matter where I'm at. I was like, so give me whatever time. Like I don't give a shit. And
Mm-hmm.
as a result of that, he's like, like because he didn't like my attitude, he didn't like the way I was, because I was just cocky. I ended up getting a 6-year sentence for it, and like I was okay with it. Like he told me he's like, we're gonna they sentenced me to 6 years to serve, and I was like, all right, that's cool. I said, so I'll see you in 6 years when I get out, and he just looked at me and he's like, have you lost your mind? I was like, I told you, I'm not gonna change. Like, I'm gonna just keep doing what I do. And I actually ended up I picked up charges when I was in jail too, and I ended up going back in front of that judge, and he's like, man, you kept your word. Like, you said you weren't gonna change, and obviously, even putting you in a cell isn't gonna change you. I was like, I told you,
Mm-hmm.
man. Like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I don't care.
That's crazy, brother, but I mean, that's, like you said, you grew up in that kind of environment. So you had already accepted this was your role in life. But I mean, now you've obviously proven to yourself that wasn't supposed to be your role. But at that time, that was your mindset, was just that you were in it.
Yeah, at that time in my life, from the age of 11 to 29 years old, like I accepted, man, like that was my life, that was my role, that was my purpose. And I was okay with it, like, and even when I first got clean, man, like I didn't I didn't plan on getting clean. Me being getting clean was a chain of events that happened in my life. But I'm grateful that I found recovery today. Because like the life that I have today, man, like it's so fucking amazing. Like I wouldn't change it for the world, man. Like I've met some great people. I've met my best friends, by getting clean. Like I've just been able to do a lot of amazing things, and I'm very blessed today.
Amen, brother. Amen. I'm right there with you. It's amazing. Like I sometimes I say it's amazing where recovery could take you, but honestly, it's just amazing where life can take you because it's amazing in the fact that I went so far into the dark, and then coming so far back into the positive too. Like it's on both ends. I've seen crazy, crazy things.
Yeah, so like I was saying, so like me getting clean, like that was never part of my plan, man. But a little more of like where I come from. So like back in 2018, I had come home from jail, and I told my mom that I was going back to Florida to get clean. I was like, look, my cousin just came home. I'm going down there. I'm going to get clean. I'm going to change my life. However, that was not my plan at all. I had no intentions on getting clean because even when I was locked up, man, like I still used every single day. Like from the age of 12, the first time that I put heroin in my body to the age of 29 when I got clean, I used every single day, man. Like there was not a day that I did not use. And so, like I told my mom, I was going down there to get clean. However, the day I left Vermont, I blocked my mom on all social media. I blocked my mom's phone number. I changed my phone number. That way, nobody could have contact with me except for the people that I wanted to have contact with me. And at the end of 2018, where maybe it was 17. Yeah, it had to have been 17 because I'm coming up on 3 years clean. And so December 2017, I called my mom, and I told her, I was like, look, I'm alive. I'm not clean. I haven't been clean. I never planned on getting clean. And my mom was actually sick, and she had begged me to go back to Vermont for the holidays. And at first, I said no, I wasn't going back. And then after consulting with my older sister, I ended up going back to Vermont for the holidays. And excuse me, my mom ended up actually being admitted to the hospital because she got sick with the flu. And so I called my mom on a Thursday to check on her. And my mom couldn't breathe. She couldn't talk. She didn't know where she was. She didn't know what was going on. She ended up being put in a medical induced coma and put on life support. And I didn't call my mom. I didn't call the hospital again. I didn't contact my family again. Meantime, like I'm still in Vermont, ripping and running, doing what I do. And on January 6th of 2018, my sister called me and she'd asked me if I was still in Vermont, and I told her I was, and I'd asked her what she wanted. And she's like, look, I'm coming to get you. We're going to the hospital. You need to be there today. And at first, I was like, no, like, if you're going to get mom, like, go get mom. Like, I don't need to be there. And she's like, no, Joshua, like, I'm coming to get you. And the moment she said Joshua, I was like, shit, because my family doesn't call me Joshua, like, and even when they say Josh, because, like, nobody in my family calls me Josh. They don't call me Joshua, still to this day. Um, they always call me something else. And like I ended up meeting up with my sister. We went to the hospital. And when we got to the hospital, I tried to go in the back to ICU to see my mom, only to find out there'd been a block put on me, preventing me from being able to see my mom.
Oh wow.
Because of my intensive drug use and the life that I was living. And at the time I didn't understand why. But I later found out that even though someone is in medical induced coma and life support, they can still hear everything that's going on around them, and they can sense the energy that's going on. And they didn't want me to harm my mom in any way with the condition that I was in. So we went in for a meeting with the doctors, and apparently during like this week span, they tried taking my mom off life support a couple times, and they weren't successful. My mom couldn't breathe without all this equipment hooked to her.
Mm.
And so at this time, like my stepdad had said, like depending on the outcome of the meeting, like would determine if I got to see my mom. And I'm the only boy. I have an older sister who also suffers from this disease of addiction, and I have a younger sister. I don't communicate with my younger sister. I haven't since I was 12 years old. But they were both there as well. And then out of nowhere, they're like, "So the decision's in your hand. Like, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "What do you mean the decision's in my hand?" And they're like, "It's up to you to make the call on what to do." And like I had to make the toughest call in my life, man. Like I had to make that decision to let my mom go. And it was the hardest day of my freaking life, man. Like having to make that decision of like taking my mom off life support and letting her go at peace. And after I said that, like my stepdad looked at me and said, "Look, like you're still not seeing your mom. You're a piece of shit drug addict." And I lost it. I lost my control. I lost my temper. However, there is a happy. It's kind of a happy ending to this, So like they end up calling security, whatever. But by the time security got up there, I was already in the back in the room with my mom. So we're drug addicts, man. Like we figure it out. When we want something, man, like we make it happen. So I
Yep.
stormed out of this meeting, man. There.
There, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, someone just tried calling me.
Oh, okay.
Um, so like I seen another family going in the back of ICU, and I followed them. I went right back with them. I knew what room my mom was in. I went in my mom's room, and next thing I know, here come these doctors, and they look at me and they're like, how'd you get in here, and what are you doing?" And I looked at them and I said, "Look, I'm not leaving without a fight." And they had told me that the rest of my family had said they wanted to wait until after my mom had passed before they went in. They didn't want to have to sit in there and go through the trauma with her passing. And
Mm-hmm.
so what they had told me was, they're like, "Look, we don't agree with the decision." And they're like, "As far as everybody else is concerned, you've left the hospital." And I was like, "All right." They're like, "So this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask you to just stand outside the room. We're gonna take all the machinery off. We're gonna let all the nursing know like that we're allowing you to be in here with your mom because nobody else is coming in." And I looked at him and I was like, like I really appreciate that. Um, and then they told me that I could have 15 minutes with my mom after she passed, and then they would bring me out a different way so the rest of the family didn't see me and get in an uproar. I wish that that's how it went. However, that is not what happened. Um, my mom took her last breath, and during this whole time, like I was telling my mom, like, "Look, don't worry. Like I'm gonna take care of everything. Everything's gonna be all right." And when I was saying that, like, I still plan on doing what I was doing, but I plan on living up to like being the man that I had to be. Um, and so my mom took her last breath, like I said, and I overdosed next to my mom, man. Like seeing my mom go, like I couldn't handle it. It was too much pain for me. Um, I ended up overdosing, and my family found out that I was back there with my mom when they didn't want me back there. That caused a whole chaos with my older sister, my younger sister, my stepdad. Like it caused a big, big, big scene. Um, and but like I got to sit with my mom when she took her last breath. Like, yeah, like I may have did some fucked up shit, but like I was able to sit there. And I wish I could say like I got clean at that point. but I did not get clean at that point. I continued ripping and running. In fact, like I went harder than I'd ever went, even though I'd already been using for, 16, 17 years, whatever it was. Um, and it wasn't until June of 2018 that I got clean. June 26th is my clean date. Um, and like for me, like my bottom, and like this is just my experience. This is my story. Like, for me, like it took me overdosing with the intent to commit suicide. Um, and like I said, like I didn't get clean with plans on staying clean. Um, like I overdosed with the intent to commit suicide. I called 911. I told them that I was doing this. When I woke up in the hospital, my chest being pounded on, like I was like, man, I can't even fucking kill myself. What the hell? And as a result of that overdose, I ended up being admitted into a psych ward, where I ended up detoxing cold turkey. And let me tell you, coming off fentanyl, cold turkey, it was fucking brutal, man. Especially after using for 17 years every single day of my life. It was the worst. I literally thought I was going to die. No, but I remember being in that psych ward like the fifth day. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why am I here? I am not crazy like these people. I just shoot dope and I smoke crack. I was like, I am not crazy. I do not have any issues. And I met with my psychiatrist, and he had suggested that I go to treatment. And once again, like treatment is a part of my story. It doesn't have to be a part of anyone's, but it's part of mine. Um, and so I was like, look, like if I call, can I get out of this fucking crazy house? And he's like, we'll talk. So I made the call to the treatment center. I got a bed. I went back to him and I was like, hey man, look, I got a bed. I said, and I'm telling you, like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I said, just please let me out of this place. And he looked at me and he's like, you're not leaving here, bro. And I said, what the hell do you mean I'm not leaving here? Like, I was pissed because I didn't plan on going to treatment, man. Like, I planned on going from that hospital, like, getting the bed to get out of the hospital and going to continue to do what I did. And, like, he's like, no, like, you're going to stay here until the day that you go to treatment. And I was like, all right. I said, so how do I get there? I was like, can I, like, make my own ride arrangements? And still, like, at this point, like, I'm still not willing. I'm still not going to treatment in my head. I'm going back out ripping and running. I'll stay in this hospital until you let me leave. That's really because I don't have a choice. And, no, um, I, I called my buddy. I was like, look, like, I explained to him everything that happened. And I was like, look, I'm going to treatment on this day. Can you come pick me up? I was like, but I'm not going to treatment. I said, this is all things that I have to do to get out of here. And he's like, so what are you saying? I said, look, the day you pick me up to bring me to treatment, like, we're going back to doing what I do. I was like, make sure you bring me all these drugs because I'm getting fucked up. And, like, that's not what happened. I ended up they ended up transporting me to treatment. And, like, today, I'm grateful for that hospital, man. Like, I resented that hospital for a while, but, like, if it weren't for them, man, like, I honestly don't think I'd be alive today. Like, and on top of that, like, I got to treatment. And like I said, so my mom was a single mom. However, I did know my dad. I sold my dad drugs. I did prison time with my dad. But when I got to treatment, like, I had opened up about this one specific trauma that I went through as a child, right? Like, when I was about 6 years old, I was molested by my father. And, like, I I only met my dad through a series of events in my life. Just so happened to be that I served my dad for a long time. I didn't know until one day when my uncle told me, he's like, yo, you know that man that you serve every morning and every evening is your father, right? And I was like, wait a minute, what? And like that led to a whole nother series of events that I'm not going to get into. Um, and so when I got to treatment, I had, for some reason, like I just opened up, man. Like I had this awesome therapist in there. I sat down with her. I told her what happened, and she had suggested that I write a letter to him explaining this trauma and this pain that he put me through. And now to top it off, like when I committed suicide, man, like I was in treatment for a week. I put the letter in the mailbox, and 3 hours after I put that letter in the mailbox, I got the phone call that my dad committed suicide.
Mm.
And like, I wish I could say like I didn't care, but like, even though my dad did what he did through doing some work, I've come to realize that my dad also suffered from a sickness. Um, and like, I forgive my dad for what he did, man. Like, my dad molested me, and I forgive that man. Like, I forgive him for all that pain that he put me through because I have an understanding today. Like for me, like I drive around. I got my mom's and my dad's obituary both in my windshield. Um, because like I have respect for the man. Like even though he molested me, I have respect for him. I love my dad. I wish I would have got to know my dad. I wish I could have had a conversation with my dad. But like now, I can still have and that's not to say like I don't have conversations with him, because I have conversations with my mom every day. I have conversations with my dad. And like it's and if I didn't find recovery, like I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at today, man. And so so I stayed in treatment for 45 days. Um, and then I went to sober living. Um, and this is where it really kicks off for me. Um, I was 90 days clean. I was living in a recovery house in Connecticut, and we went to this recovery event in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and there were probably about 15,000 people there. It was a huge event, and it was a concert, and everyone there was in recovery, and that day I met both my best friends. Some of you may have heard of them. Um, I know Maddie knows them. That's where I met B Rain and Rem One. They had some meetings outside of this event, and like I had randomly walked up to B and introduced myself, and we started talking. And even though like I went through that trauma as a child, like I still didn't trust. I didn't trust men because like obviously like that trust I should have had in a man was taken from me at an early age. But for some reason, like when I met B Rain and Rem One, man, like I just opened up. I told him my story. I told him where I was at, and I said, "Look, I'm 90 days clean." I said, "I don't even want to be clean. I honestly want to go back to the streets." I said, "I'm not even here because I want to be here. So I'm here because the recovery house made me come here." I said, "But if I had it my way, I wouldn't be here." And B had asked me like where I was sitting, and then I told him I was like I had nosebleed seats. And now keep in mind too, like this was my first concert that I'd ever been to in my life, because I was so self-isolated when I was out there ripping and running that I didn't do anything, man. I didn't get to experience life. And B had reached in his back pocket and he handed me this ticket, and he's like, "Look, I was given this extra ticket. It's for VIP." He's like, "I'm actually opening up for Macklemore." And so I took the ticket and I went back over to my buddies, and like I'm showing them this ticket, whatever, and I'm holding it up to the sky, like checking to see if it's a counterfeit $100 bill. And then Rem walks over and he's like, "Hey, is this your buddy?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Look, we got another one. This is for you." And I'm like, and I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, these guys are not rappers. These tickets are fucking fake. I said, I don't know who they think they're fooling. But for some reason, like, I went to the VIP gate to try and get in. For some reason, like, I still went. And, like, I was able to get in. And, like, for that. I'm forever grateful for that day, man, because like B Rain and Rem One, like they've been a huge part of my story, and like I've been able to meet some amazing other people through them. You know, and like I've got to experience life on a whole nother level that I never thought I would. Um, you know, so yeah, that's like where I come from, man.
Amen. Amen, brother. That is awesome,
I,
man. It's awesome. So, could I ask, like, what made you walk over to B Rain though and just introduce yourself? Was there anything that made you go do that?
I don't even know, man. Like I just like all of a sudden, like I seen him and something attracted me to him. I don't know what it was. Like I just
You didn't even know that he was B Rain. Like you didn't know
I
who
didn't
that
even know
was at
who
all.
this man was, and like I've had people ask me multiple times, like, "Yo, did you know who he was?" I'm like, I had no idea who he was. Like even people I was with, they're like, "Yo, you know that man?" I was like, I don't fucking know him. I know him from
Wow,
Adam and
man.
Eve. But it's crazy to think, like, here I am in a state I'm not from, that I don't live in, meeting this man, and at that point, I had no idea that this man would be an important person in my life to this day. Like, here I am now living in Maryland with him and Rem One, you know, like living an amazing life. Like, I would have never imagined that coming out of going to an event like that, man. And like, as a result of that, like, I've been able to travel, you know, like, I've got to like really just work on myself and figure out who I am. And, you know, like, they've been a huge part of my life, man. And like, I love those guys. Like, they're my family. They're not my friends. Like, those are my brothers. Like, they are the people I go to and that I'm with all the time. And they're the ones that are there when I'm going through shit. Like, I have other people in my network, my foundation, but those two are like my people, you know, like, so the rest of the guys, you know, like through them I got to meet Casey Makes Music, Joe Nestor, Kalichi, you know, like it's really amazing to be a part of, you know, the things that I've gotten to be a part of with those guys.
Oh, it's super cool, really, man. It's awesome. Like, I mean, I was just saying just earlier today, I was thinking that I was listening to Casey Makes Music and I was like, wow, I can't believe like I got this guy's number in my phone and I can like call this guy and like we text every once in a while. It's like I can't believe the things that recovery has done for me and the people that I've aligned myself with. It just blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, man, like it's crazy. Like I never would have imagined being where I am in life today.
No, not at all. Not at all. I imagined myself, if you'd asked me in my active addiction where I was going to end up, I'd have told you I was probably going to get a trailer house somewhere up in the north woods of Wisconsin, where I'm from. I would probably would have had a trailer house, and I would have ended up, just either renting a place or, if I would have bought a place, it would have been a trailer. And that's where I would have
I
lived,
was
man. And I,
totally look, man, like I was that dude. I was totally content with not knowing where I was sleeping that night. Like I was totally content with just being shacked up in someone's house, like just doing what I do. Like I was perfectly content. I was perfectly content with the idea that I was gonna be in prison for the rest of my life. Like I was okay with it. Like I was just like, it's part of my life. Like it's part of what I have to do.
Yep, that's exactly where I was too. I just accepted that that's what my life was. That's where this was my lot in life. This is what, if there is a God, this is what he had planned for me. Now I'm like, I know there's a God and I know that that's not at all what he had planned for me. But back then,
Yeah,
my spiritualness, my religion, like everything was just so dead. Like I didn't care about anything back then.
yeah. I didn't give a shit about nothing, let alone myself. I wish I could see the comments, man. Is anyone
Let's
asking any questions or anything?
We don't have any questions. Angie says she finally made it one day without a cigarette today, so congratulations to
That's awesome.
Angie.
Congrats.
Everybody says amazing, powerful, powerful testimony. Sandy says, wow, it took 30 years until I chose to forgive my dad. Unfortunately, he died before I could tell him that.
Well, here we go. I found the comments here.
Hey, there you go. I was going to say, I think there's a button you could hit, but definitely, definitely. Thank you all, everybody out there watching, guys. You guys have been an
Yeah,
amazing
guys.
audience,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
just awesome to have you here. Hey, there's my big brother hopping in. What's going on, Todd? How you doing?
Yeah, so
Mm.
man, like music's turned out to be a huge part of my life. Like it's definitely like part of what keeps me clean today. If you guys haven't checked out the guys, definitely jump over to their pages. B Rain, Rem One, Kalichi, Joe Nestor, and Casey Makes Music. Man, like we got a lot of stuff in the works right now. B and Rem are actually up in Connecticut at Casey's studio right now. Um, working on an album called Nobody Special. It drops May 15th, so it's pretty excited. We actually a couple weeks ago, me, B, and Ram, like, let me see if I can. Me, B, and Ram, we all went and got these tattoos, right? Nobody Special tattoos. Where is it? There we go.
Oh,
NS,
okay.
Nobody Specials. But like, if you look at it upside down, it says us, right? Because without us, like without everyone, all of our support and our fans, man, like none of this is possible. Like it's just truly amazing. Like I've had the privilege of being able to speak at events, man, like across the country, and like it's really powerful, man. Like to see like how many people are inspired, you know, by my story, like where I'm at, where I came from. Like I was just talking to someone, probably like a month or two ago, and from back up in Vermont, and like they're dealing with some issues, whatever, and they were at court, and they're like, "Yo, your name came up in court." I was like, "What the fuck? I ain't been in Vermont in almost 3 years. What do you mean my name came up in court?" I was like, "Still?" And they're like, "No, they were asking where you were because they heard that you're doing good things and that you changed your life." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I never realized how many people are like watching what I'm doing, and so like, I was like, like that meant a lot to me, man. Like just knowing that, like it is noticed that I am out here and that I've changed my life, because like I don't know that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But yeah,
Amen, though,
so
man. It is nice. It really is to have people see the change inside of you because, like, the outside appearances always changes. Of course, when someone goes from addiction to recovery, we change so much on the outside, but the change that happens that really matters is the change that happens on the inside. So when you get validation that people see that in you, it's beautiful.
yeah, like it took me a long time in order, to really see my worth and to love myself. It took a lot of work in order for me to get to that place.
Amen. Amen. So what would you say if you had to say one, what would be the biggest thing that you've achieved in your recovery? Like the biggest amends or the biggest whatever your big thing is.
The biggest thing that I've achieved is like just being able to maintain friendships, being able to show up and keep commitments when I say I don't know I'm gonna be there. Like other than that, like I'd say my biggest achievement though is like working on my credit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's an
because
awesome one right
I had
there.
no credit, man. I had no credit at one point.
That's awesome. That's a huge thing that we need to work on in our recoveries too, like regaining that financial world, regaining the spiritual everything.
Like I have a fucking bank account today. Like I was against banks my whole life, and like I have a bank account. Like I don't know, it's just small things like that just blow my mind.
Amen. Amen. Pam says, "Do you work the steps?"
I do work the steps. Yep.
12 steps. There you are.
Yeah, but like honestly, I keep that stuff separate. Because I don't want to break any traditions. So I don't, when I get on, lives and whatever, I keep all the fellowship out of it.
Yep. Yep. Right on. Makes sense. Let's see. Ashley Cotter says, "Where in Maryland are you?"
Baltimore.
Baltimore, Maryland. Right on. Right on. I got a lot of friends out there, actually. Well, I got a lot of recovery friends out there, I should say. I got you and all the Cloud Gang guys, Mikey Concepts. I got quite a few Baltimore, Maryland
We're all out
friends.
here, man, and like And the cool thing is, like, when I got clean, right, like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what friendships were because, like, everyone I had associated with, they all been doing the same thing, right? So, like, I didn't even know what I enjoyed. I didn't know who I was as a person. And, like, as soon as I got involved with, like, you know, doing fellowship and everything, like, as soon as I got involved with all everyone in the music industry, like, my life just took off from there, man. Like, being able to, I sell merch at the shows. I don't know if my name shows up. Yeah, JS Bus. So JS Bus. So we'll talk about that. All right. I mean, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, why does it say JS Bus?
I was
So
wondering that.
actually, we're in the house one day, and I was like, man, like you guys all got names. I was like, I gotta come up with something for myself. And I do all the driving. Like when we go on tour, when we go to shows, like I drive the tour bus. So Rem's like JS Bus, and ever since then, like I've run with it, man. Like JS Bus, that's who I am. Um, but and the other thing like that I've had to really like keep in check as well with like being a part of all this is like not letting my ego get the best of me, right? Because at times like the ego can definitely take us out. But like I stay humble, man. Like I know that I do music with them. I also know that I'm in recovery and that I'm here to help others and be of service. And the music's just a blessing that has come with, my action and my work. So like,
Amen.
so I've gotten to travel. I've probably been to, I don't know, I think we figured it out that since I've met the guys, I've been to like 16, 17 different states. With the guys, like I never flew before I got clean. I've flown to a handful of places. And like for me, like COVID's actually been a blessing. Like unfortunately, COVID's done some people not so well, but for us, man, like COVID has been amazing. When COVID first hit, B and Ran, like they got together and they were coming up with ideas about getting a tour bus, and we ended up going to New Jersey, and we got bus. I don't know if you've seen it at all. It's currently in the shop right now, getting the power steering fixed. But like that was our COVID project. We gutted the thing out. We built the inside. We got 9 bunks in there. Like couches, tables, TV. Like
Yeah.
we made it a project, man. And like like that's what got me through COVID was being able to do that because we had to cancel like 42, 46 shows last year because of
hmm
COVID. And you know, so it was tough. Like we didn't get out there and interact with everyone the way we do. So like we all got down for a little bit, man, but like we found a way to get through it. We took advantage of it. And then in December of last year, like just this past December, Casey, B, Ram, me, and our videographer, Lowe's, we all got on a bus and MacBook Max, and we went out west for 2 weeks, man. Like we started off, we drove from Maryland to Vegas, and we started recording videos, man, and like putting things together, like still grinding with it. Like if it wasn't for being clean, like there's no way I've been able to go away for 2 weeks and like do the things that we did. Like I had a blast. And then like unfortunately we all got COVID. We all got sick when we came home. And like that scared me, man. Like after losing my mom from the flu, like these type of sicknesses scare me, and I was scared. But people showed up for me. Like people made sure I had food, had things I needed. And like I said, B and Rem are actually up in Connecticut at Casey's studio right now. They're up there for the next week recording for the Nobody Special album, which drops May 15th. and all the
I
guys
know.
are on there. And there's videos that have been shot for some of the tracks and everything. And Casey's been dropping music. So they're up there doing that right now. They come home Friday. Um, but it's really exciting because not only does this project drop on May 15th, but we got our first live show that day as well. So, like
Awesome.
the day that we release this project, we get to be there with the fans and, like get back out there, man, because it's been a long year with no shows. And now that venues and things are starting to open back up, like, we're going to be able to start getting back out there. So it's really cool. And, you know, speaking of the music, Casey makes music. Like, he's dropping, like his most like sentimental song that he's done yet. You know, Next week, the 26th, it drops. It's called XORIP.
Love that
Like
song.
I'm excited for that to drop, man. Like when people hear that, like it's just gonna be, and the video that goes with it. Like he just dropped an EP a couple weeks ago with one of our other friends, Serge. And let me tell you about Six Gear, bro. Like Six Gear, that
That song's awesome.
video, yeah, the video was amazing. Like we got to shoot that down in Florida, and being a part of that, man, like it was really cool.
Mhm.
To be there for that, and like that these guys have like loved me unconditionally and showed me like what a true family is. And like being a part of these things, it's just like it's really amazing and like helped me really see my worth and my value and the fact that like if I put in the work, I can literally do anything in this life that I want.
Definitely. Definitely. Amen, bro. Amen. That's exactly like I love following those guys. Those guys, their music inspires me, and not only just their music, their lyrics and everything, but just everything they have done in themselves just inspires me along the way too. And it's been awesome having you on here too, bro. Like this whole story was really like you were really open and honest about everything you've been through, and I really appreciate that. I love the transparency and thanks for coming on here. Is there anything else you want to share with us before I let you hit the road?
So to answer Sandy's question, Sandy said, Josh, how are you keeping your ego down? So I just stay vigilant. Like I realize that, like what I am doing in my life, like anybody can do, right? Like if they put in the work and the action, we can do anything we want. So for me, like keeping my ego out of the way, like I just have to remember to stay humble and grateful. Because like at any point, like I could lose everything that I have at any point in time. Like if I don't continue to put in the daily work, like I don't have any of this. So for like keeping the ego down, like I just have to remind myself that I don't need to be anyone but myself. I can be who I am, and if people don't like who I am, that's not on me. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing. I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna continue to give back, and I'm just gonna stay humble about it. Like I literally like this project that we're working on right now. Nobody's special. Like I'm nobody special. I'm just a regular guy out here trying to show people that recovery is possible and that we can change. And like I just feel like that's my purpose is like just continue to show on a daily basis that we can change.
Amen. Amen. That's a beautiful purpose to have too, brother. All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you get out of here. Thanks for spending some time with us and sharing your story with us, brother.
All right, Maddie, it was good talking with you, and thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight, and I'll definitely be talking with you soon.
All right, man. You have a good night.
All right, man, I love you.
Love you, brother. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Point of Change meets Josh Sears. What an awesome guy, down to earth, really cool. Like it's cool to talk to people like him and people like everybody involved with Cloud Gang. Really, like the whole crew, no matter what what their role is. Like, I just love being involved with those guys, and any chance I get to have them come on here or share their stories, or or any of their friends, family, anybody that's willing. I love it when people are willing and ready and willing to come on here and share their stories. If anybody out there watching this, if you want to come on here and share your story, make sure you click that button and send a message to my page and let me know that you would love to be on here. Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central, I have guests on, so I am always looking for people that are willing to come on here and share. Josh, thanks again for reaching out and saying you were willing to come on here. I appreciate it, brother. All right, I love you all. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay clean.